Hello, welcome to Melanin and Albinoid Live. I am Lady Ebimbola. Welcome to today's blog. We have been going through a lot as a race, and with this pandemic, the whole globe has been going through a lot. But the melanin race in particular, well, on my blog, I talk about the gang stalking program, the racist system, and the abuse of the fundamental human right. Melanin race has been a target of attack. Two Chinese, two French doctors publicly announced of targeting the melanin race for the COVID-19 vaccine experiment. In the whole of the old world, at least in Central Europe where I live, the melanin have been targeted for a long, even much longer than you can ever think of. But right now, as always, the Central Europe system, it's a systematic but very obvious attack against the melanin people. In China, an aggressive approach was made. Let me tell you something, as a targeted individual myself, when the authorities abuse power, when the authorities are the one behind persecution, attack, and maltreatment, when the authorities are the one actually behind any kind of cruel, dehumanizing behaviors, they would always they are in the position of power to twist the situation around. I personally have been going through a lot of persecution by the authorities in the land where I abide. The citizens of the country have been used in this persecution. They've used Sri Lankans against me in this persecution. They've used Africans like me in this persecution from different nationals, you know, Nigerians themselves and other nationals, Ghanaians, Nigerians, Senegal, Cameroon, they've used different individuals. This actually is to derail me from actually understanding who is the next on the list. So I've gotten to a stage whereby I have my guard up against even my own people, because I realize that they can't use the white against me, because it's a clear evidence I don't believe any of them. I don't get close to any of them, and my guides are tightly up. But with my own people, well, in the past, I had my guards on because I believe I should be around my own people. But even my own people, of course, majority of them are very miserable. They're not living a very nice life. So when you come in their presence out of jealousy or wickedness or frustration or misery or whatever reason, they can be easy prey to be used against you. Well, recently, why I'm saying this, I have to say my own testimony also before I go on to today's news. Why I'm saying this is that Africans have been segregated from the work uh, um, sector for a very long time. Continuous sabotage of our incomes, continuous abuse of our integrity, continuous masterminding, setting traps, destroying our legal data. My legal data continuously is under attack by the authorities who attempt different times to manipulate my legal data to construct a story. I have never participated in any criminal activity before in my life. I do not have any criminal record. I have never been condemned for any crime before in my life. I do not participate in any criminal activities. But they have strategically used method of placing us in a class with a bad name to so many Africans, including myself. And this is a strategy. It is not like, like now China is trying to turn what is happening to the Africans, that oh, for whatever reason they were not listening to, not respecting the Covuid, whatever. I mean, what are they talking about? There is a virus out there, and you push people out. I was in a residence that I paid. I have never defaulted in payment. I have never had any problem with I mean, they wanted me to pay double rent. I refused to pay, and I said I will not go and expose myself to disease. If I can, the way they were harassing me there, I would have gone. But because everywhere was shut, we're in a lockdown, and they're trying to fish out Africans to push us to a place of vulnerability. Well, there are some Africans, they stay in their home and their sex machines from the white society. I'm just telling you the gospel truth. I want to let you know what is happening. Some of our boys, they stay in their houses, but they are drug peddlers for the society. They are being sent. They didn't send themselves, because when they came from Libya, they didn't come with the drugs from Libya. Somebody gave them the drugs here. And the girls, even in the house, all the smelly, shitty people still go to them, even with this virus situation. Okay, I just want to give you an idea of what is happening. But you are not living, those of us that are not living that lifestyle, we are a target. They're pushing the Africans out. They are intentionally pushing the African out. They don't have an excuse. In my own case, they don't have an excuse. In fact, when the whole thing happened in my own case, I called the military police, I called the state police. None of them came. In fact, one of the state police told me that they don't have a right to drive me out because I was under quarantine there. I went back because I wanted to make a report against them that they were going to put my life at risk. There was a virus outside, and their actions was going to put my life at risk. But what happened? The day on a certain day, they asked me, am I paying the double rent, or I want to leave? I said I'm not leaving, and I'm not paying double rent. I'm paying only one rent as I've been paying, and that's all I will pay. I will not pay double rent. The police was called. Immediately they came, they began being aggressive with me, and the next thing, they fought me not fighting because I was not fighting, but they wrestled me, and I had a big mark here. I will show the mark here. So my thing is that I don't know what happened that I had a mark here. Maybe when they were holding me, I do not know, but there was a mark. I don't know, maybe they injected me with something, or maybe they had something in their hand, because a police guy was on my back, another one was fighting me in front. So maybe the one on my back touched me with something. I don't know. I cannot say anything concerning that. But I know they did something to me, and which I cannot explain in this part of my hand. Well, and they gave me a blow. I've already said that in other videos. What warrants a police officer attacking a almost 50-year-old woman in such manner because I refuse to be defrauded? Even if there was any law backing up that they should defraud me, which it's not so. If there was any law, the authorities is supposed to come and say, okay, fine, there is a virus out there. You wanted to pay double. She says she's not paying double. Okay, fine. Why don't you give her time to try to look for another thing? Because right now, that was what I was expecting. You understand? It was almost impossible to get somewhere. By grace, by mercy, somehow I've been getting, but it has all been a trap kind of place. A place, it's every movement, it's a trap, because right now they know I'm in a vulnerable position. You understand? So anyway, and when I got out of there, they stole all my food, my food I kept for the quarantine and everything like that. Almost 400 euros worth of food, all my alcohol, all my disinfectant, all my hand gloves, all my mask, everything I bought to protect myself was stolen. So I am telling you this right now, reflecting what is happening before I begin to talk about the news. So I want you to pick all those points. They stole my food, my source of energy, my source of nutrients. most people are not getting money any longer like before because of business. My only source of income is my online activities, and I don't have any kind of sustenance from the government, from anywhere. Every right I have, every sustenance I have right to, have been denied. So I do not have any kind of sustenance from the government. So they stole all my, now the picture I want you to see, they want to push me out of the residence I was living since last year. Then they stole my hand gloves. They didn't touch my any expensive thing, though they have an eye on that. But the focus is to steal my hand gloves, to steal my disinfectant, to steal my face mask, to steal my everything that's supposed to cover me from getting infected. So, in other words, they are trying to set trap for the blacks to be infected. When you're infected, then there will be an excuse to take you to the hospital. Anyway, they actually forced me out. Before they forced me out, they the house I was paying, they locked the water. They locked the water. I was staying in room 6. They locked the water. They put off the electricity. I was in the darkness for 4 hours. I was tortured in the residence before I left. Then, when they did that, they now told me the boiler, I didn't get hot water, so I went to report to them, look, what is happening to the hot water? They now said the boiler was not working. Then they changed me from room 6 to room 9. I can prove that to you. When they changed me, there was a hidden camera in my room, in the room 9. In the room 9, I still have their key with me. So when I left, the police beat me up. I didn't leave on my own. The police beat me up. They don't have any right to get into my property. But when I left, they entered my property. They touched my things. They touched my things. They stole my things. And when I came back to get my things, they didn't want me to get my things. That's how the same law enforcement agent that was accused to steal my things in Milano, the same law enforcement authorities was accused to steal my things in Campo Turis. The same law enforcement was accused to take my things in Pescara de Garda. The same law enforcement was accused to steal my things in Baioli di Sopra. The same law enforcement was accused to steal my things in Colo Salvetti. Now, they want to program the mind of the society to believe something else. I have never been involved in criminal activities before in my life. I do not degrade myself to involve myself in any bad thing. I have enough common sense. I was brought up from a very good Christian home. All my family members, they're good citizens in the society. To report the police, they actually cover those things. They don't take my report. When I go to report other police, I have been stalked by the law enforcement agent. I have been openly accused in Cecil Match Point, in Marghera, in Maestre, in Marghera, in Vicenza, in Verona, in Padova. And these are law enforcement agents stalking me and slandering my character. Well, I just want to say a little bit about my own. So for you to know that if none of you bloggers or anybody writing or newscasts or whatever journalists don't understand what is happening in Guangzhou, I believe, or the whole of China right now to blacks, I know what is happening to them. I believe I know what is happening to them. This is a gang stalking program happening. And what they said they're going to do, using the black people as a guinea pig for the experiment, the virus experiment is still going on. When they drove me out of the place, you can say, oh, maybe they just do because they're just wicked and racist. Okay, racism. At least they say, oh, she's going out where, probably she doesn't know where to go to. There's no hotel open, no other residence open. She's going to find it difficult. I mean, these are our gloves. Our food is there, our gloves and, a mask or whatever she needs to protect herself. But they also took that away. So in other words, they intentionally want to push me into a place of vulnerability where they expect me to be infected with the virus. And when things was not going the way they planned it, I was trying to look for a place. They now sent a Cameroon. This Cameroon came specifically to the shop I was and presented me, oh, he has a brother that is renting a room. But when I got there, it was not renting a room, it was another story. And that also, it was a setup. They got the money from me and they wanted me out. After they got money from me, I was pushed out of that place again. A camera was even placed in the room also, in the mirror. It was placed in the mirror of the house I rented. When I got away from that place, I'm in this new place where I am right now, but I'm still analyzing the old situation. I'm still analyzing the old thing, whether I'm staying or not, or whatever, because they always have a way of trying to seduce anybody around. There are people that are targeted. There are people that I don't want to say anything bad about anybody because this is a blog. I like to talk about my own experiences. But there are some blacks that are totally under the manipulation, mind control of where they want them to be. Either they are being sexually exploited or they are just being exploited in one way or the other. I don't want to say more than that, but there are some that are, so if that they want to get you into a vulnerable position, you are now together with somebody they already have in the position they want, then this person that is already where they want is it can be a weapon in their hands to use against you, that they're trying to get into the same kind of position this other person is, if you know what I'm saying. Now, with my own situation, let's now go. I'm a 50-year-old woman. I've actually made translog 4 times in 2 weeks. 4 times in about 2 weeks. I got away from the residence. I got to another place. From the other place, I didn't get I had to get away from that place. Then I couldn't get a place immediately. It was 24. My things was 24 hours in a place. Then the next day I came and the guy collected another fresh money from me, just like making a new transportation of the things. Well, now let's go to China. What is happening in China right now? The melanin people, they refuse their medical care. Okay? That means their health, their life means nothing to them. 2, they deny them of public places, buses, shops, fast to eat, supermarket, whatever. Okay, the virus came from your country. You are accusing, of course, let me tell you something about propaganda. They say propaganda only to destroy the authenticity of the truth, so that people would deviate from the truth and start weighing the possibility of the propaganda being the truth. It is just to distract from the truth. Propaganda is to distract people from the truth. You have to be extremely intelligent to know what is happening. I have a video. I've done so many things I'm compiling together, but I started to bring this out first. Well, they're ejected from houses. They said because they are not following what I don't know how to do it here, and every country is different. Like, for example, over here we are allowed to go to the supermarket. So if you want to go to the supermarket to buy some things, you buy. If they control you, you show your receipt that you're going to supermarket. And if you have to do something more, you have to stay outside for a very longer time. There is a form that you print out from the internet, and so basically that is how it functions over here. I don't know how it functions over here there in China, okay? But for whatever reason, if somebody, if let's just assume, giving them benefit of that, uh, uh, you know let's just assume their claims is, they went out of the house. And how about the ones in hotel? You said they went out of the house and they locked their house up. It's very funny. Somebody went out of the house and they locked their house up, and there's a virus outside. Is it not logical that when they went out of the house, you force them back into the house and lock them into the house? Is that not more logical if their life meant something? And the African politicians buy that bullshit. Well, let's move forward. Um, they forced them, they ejected them from their houses, from hotels, from wherever place of shelter Africans are. Okay, then they forced them to take a blood. They take their blood samples without signing any proof of being tested for anything. Then another vital thing I want you to put into consideration: they seized their passport. Now, let's just assume you don't want people to stay in your country again. You don't want them to stay in their house again, but you seized their passport. What does that mean to you? You want to destroy every link that this person is connected to your country. So when the person disappears, nobody can trace that person because the passport will disappear with the person. Then, after pushing them outside, the police is stalking them and harassing them. Now, these are people that you push them out of their place of shelter. You refuse them from eating any kind of food. You refuse them from taking any kind of, going to stores to buy anything to rejuvenate themselves. They're outside in the cold. The police are stalking them. Stalking them, what do they want to achieve with stalking them? You want to take them to prison, take them to prison. You want to keep them back in the house, keep them. But putting them on the street where they are exposed to virus without a mask or a glove. If nobody sees the fact that they are trying to, you see, let me tell you something. They want to use Africans as guinea pig for the vaccine. And since Africans are not getting this thing as fast as possible, they are trying to push us in a place of vulnerability where they can send people amongst them to infect them. And when they infect them, they can get them to the hospital, not because they want to treat them. They just want to see how our own immune system is fighting. Now, for the fact that our government is not doing anything, they're able to catch some of us. And because they're able to catch some of the Africans, it means that they were able to take some blood samples to use it as experiment to test. Maybe they could not test it on a black, but they see that the melanin in us is the one actually giving us, because you see the difference between white and black is because we have more, they have melanin also, but very little quantity of melanin. We have a larger quantity. That's why we have darker, beautiful dark skin. They probably have realized the melanin in the melanin skin. So I will show you these two doctors that was actually a friend to that other doctor that is a whistleblower. um I think it was January or February that the doctor actually got the virus and died. The whistleblower doctor, his friends, two of his friends actually got infected. They tested positive for the virus also, and they are undergoing care in the intensive care unit and they became black. They were injected with melanin. You can only get melanin from melanin blood. That's all the blood they have gotten. All the blood they've gotten from the black people are the ones they're using they're attempting to use to cure themselves. We have 15 doctors in Nigeria. Nigerian kicked against it. The Nigerian politician, they allowed them in. They claim they're coming to treat their own Chinese people in our country. I've never heard that in any country, that they send doctors to go and treat Chinese people in other countries. Take your citizens to your country. Take your citizens back to your country. Why do you remain in our country? Even though we kicked against it to protect our doctors that are doing a wonderful work, well, they're still in Nigeria. What are they doing secretly that you don't know? As long as they're still on that territory, they will still find way to achieve their aim, as they've done in their country. Now, these two doctors have been injected with melanin. Look at, I would show you some example of a woman that was injected with melanin in Germany and the way she looks like, and look at the doctors and look at them, look at the doctors and look at the woman, and well, I'm not saying it's a statement of fact. I'm just saying, number one, I know the wickedness of these people, and my analysis is not based on any fact or medical whatever, but for the fact that melanin actually makes your skin darker. They're kidnapping, or they're placing black people in a place of vulnerability. They're taking their blood and seizing their passport. There's something fishy. Well, maybe it's only me that thinks that way, but look at what I feel anyway. Look at this news concerning these two doctors. Well, that is it. The skin is as dark as this woman that wants to be black, and all she does is she's injecting herself with the melanin blood. When melanin people go to the hospital, they steal our blood, and the blood they steal from us, they use this blood to make melanin pills, where they give with the pills they give to their own people, and they're practicing the vaccine of the coronavirus through the melanin right before our eyes. Now, look at this woman. I'm not saying she has any virus, but she was doing this before any kind of pandemic busted out. She was actually injecting herself with melanin pill. But melanin, you can only get melanin from melanin people. Melanin is not created in the laboratory. So if they have so much melanin to have created or made so much melanin pills, then that means melanin, we've even been giving them our blood for a very long time. That's why you see most men, I don't like to go to the hospital. I prefer to die than to go to the hospital. They are just so abusive, disrespectful, and this is what makes me very angry and bitter towards this race. You see, racism, I know all albinoid people are not guilty, but whether you're guilty of racism or not, for the fact that you are an albinoid, you are a recipient of a racist system, and for me, you are also great. If you're not fighting against the racist system, you're a cool recipient, because of course, if I have this peanut now, and somebody says, oh, this peanut is just for two people or whatever, and it's with me, okay, and two other people come that's supposed to, okay, because it's with me, okay, I'm going to eat the peanut with them. I'm also a recipient of the peanut. But when other people come, oh, we're hungry, also we want to eat something, and I begin to distribute it, then I'm not a recipient, because I refuse this to feed just two people instead of feeding more people. So if you are a recipient of a racist system, you are equally guilty. You can be guilty by choice, willful, guilty person, whichever way. If you are not fighting against
comes when a rogue leader makes an entrance. Libya's Muammar Gaddafi had the press foaming at
المصل بتاع المرض اللي ينتشر زي انف العنزه بتاعت الخنازير، وان شاء الله يجيكم انف العنزه بتاعت الاسماك في المستقبل. على اي حال انك المصانع تشتغل بتاعت المخابرات هذه اذا كانت هي تباع بثمن غالي معناها تجاره، يصنعوا فيروس وينشروه في العالم باش الشركات الراسماليه تحصل اموال ببيع الاموال. عيب، هذا حرام عليكم. الامصال لا تباع، الدواء لا يباع. اقروا الكتاب الاخضر لا يسمح ببيع الدواء. الدواء لا يباع. اعلنوا يقولوا الدواء مجاني. الامصال مجانيه، مش حتنتشر الفيروسات لان خلقوا فيها باش يعملوا امصال وباش تكسب منها الشركات الراسماليه. هذه معالجه خطا. اعلنوا ان الادويه لا تباع مجانيه، واذا كانت حتى فيروسات حقيقيه يجب لا الامصال، لا نبيع الامصال، يجب نبيع، يجب نعطيها بلاش. العالم يبذل جهد ويصنع هذه الامصال لينقذ نفسه. هذه كلها معروضة في ملفات وقضايا بتناقشها الجمعية العامة المتحدة، ما عندهاش عمل إلا هذا العمل.
I want you to consider the fact that, as I said, the greatest cause we have in Africa are politicians. Well, I'm proud of the Ghanaian president for the fact that he took a bold step to help his citizens. And yes, I mean, he is one of the presidents in Africa right now that I really respect. But majority of the politicians in Africa, they are corrupt. I don't even know. I don't want to be offensive with my words, so I wouldn't say anything because there's nothing good that will come out of my mouth towards them at this point. Well, our citizens are dying. We have been enslaved for too long. We have been oppressed for too long. We have been persecuted, ridiculed, reproached, used, maligned, and the law enforcement agent manipulate black people's data to place us in a class with a bad name. They stigmatize, they criminalize us, they manipulate our legal data, they manipulate police reports. When I was in the residence, the police actually manipulated my data and wrote another report different from what happened until I sent a video on my blog of what happened. At that point, they were twisting, they were now mixing what they did, what they did not do. Before, they wrote something different. Italian police at Marghera, via cons, the Italian police at Marghera. That is where what they said. Maybe that's what they wrote in the report, I don't know. But that's what they said. Until I reported that what happened is that they must have told the residents to force me to pay more money. Either they make me waste money or I would run away by myself because I will not be able to pay, or it will be too much for me to pay. Then after I left, they were telling me that, oh, they wanted to close the place. The place is still open. People are still living there. Not much, but people are still living there because some of the staff actually live there. Some of the staff don't have a house. They live there. So I was a target. They wanted to place me in a place of vulnerability where they expect us to be sick. You know, I'm a naturalist. I have a blog on health and lifestyle. So definitely, even though I'm 50 years old, that will not be of concern. They will feel, oh, she's healthy. We can focus on her also and take her down. African government, African politician is the greatest cause we have. Right now, I believe Africans, we have to join out together. Nigeria, for example, Showore says there should be revolution. Please, we have to unite. It seems all of you politicians, you are very corrupt. Nobody can start a revolution. Nobody have the guts to impeach a corrupt government. But we have somebody from outside the government that says revolution is what we want, what we need, and it is. I believe 100% that revolution is what we need in Africa, not just in Nigeria, in Africa. We need a revolution, and we need to impeach as many as possible. All the politicians in that, we need to flush all of them out. They are selling us to be used. An agreement has been signed to use us as guinea pigs, and our government has actually handed us over. Whatever is happening in China, whatever is happening in Europe, whatever is happening all over the world, it is known by our government. Nigerian embassy is closed. I call the embassy, Nigerian embassy is closed. They don't receive phone calls again. But on their website, nigerianembassy.it, on their website, you will see that they're still issuing visa. With coronavirus, they're still issuing visa from a place that is red flag with the virus to go to Nigeria. But they don't have, they're issuing visa for coronavirus people to go to Nigeria, but they don't have any plans for Nigerians that need their help, their assistance at the embassy, how to get in touch. So at the end of the day, we take the bull by the horn by ourselves as Africans. I'm a very proud African woman. But we, as a people, we need to take the bull by the horn. If there will be bloodshed, let there be bloodshed. We need to get rid of every politician we have in Africa. And apart from very few have stood up, and I've seen them, and I'm very proud of the very few that stood up. Till today, Buhari has not said anything concerning maltreatment of Nigeria in Africa. Ordinary Kenya is thinking about the way Kenya even sees. Was it Kenya or Guinea? I think it's Guinea. They went to arrest every Chinese in their country. That until Chinese release, or the Guineans in China gets back home safely, they will not allow the Chinese to go. They will deport all of them.
Des Chinois prisonniers, on nous envoie pour venir s'offrir des Guinéens. Ça ne peut plus continuer. Ou ils respectent les lois du pays. C'est seulement en Guinée ça se fait. Ouais. Des Chinois prisonniers, on nous envoie pour venir s'offrir des Guinéens. Ça ne peut plus continuer. Ou ils respectent les lois du pays, ou ils foutent le camp. On n'a pas besoin d'investisseurs qui viennent ici pour insulter les gens.
Buhari has not said anything. A Nigerian lady over here, apart from me, went through similar thing. At least those are the ones I have heard. And some people have been giving me information of other situations that is happening. Like there's money that they're giving right now to people. Some people said, they are not giving to them, that the local government, will tell them, oh, they should go to this place. They're sending them around. That's the normal thing they usually use for Africans. If they do not want to help them, they'll be telling, oh, you go here, we go here. Before when there's a situation, people are not supposed to be walking around at this quarantine time. People just go to the supermarket and go back home, go to the supermarket and go back home. But when you just start telling them, do this, do this, do this, it's just to distract them, to waste their time. And, at the end of the day, when they're frustrated, they just keep going. People have to eat. People must eat. People must be, but they are fighting. And somebody that still have a little bit of something to still spend to sustain themselves, they're fighting me so much. They're focusing on my things, or of stealing my things. They're exposing me to greedy human beings to surround me. They will influence people around me. They give them all kind of story to make them maybe begin to have eyes on my thing, to steal from me or whatever, to destroy me. These are the kind of people our government actually, sell us to. You will say, oh, nobody told you to come there. I'm not saying nobody told me, but they are in my country also. Anybody is free to move anywhere they want. They are in my country. In fact, an Italian that took the virus to Nigeria, we cured him and he's still in Nigeria. If we were like them, we would have cured him and deported him to his country. Go back to your country with your virus. But he's still there. Anyway, a word is enough for the wise. Melanin people all over the world should be very careful where I target. And please watch my blog, Lady Abimbola, on health and lifestyle. Maybe you can get one or two things that can help you out, like to preserve yourself, to strengthen your immune system, to boost your pH value, so that you don't go to the hospital. Already as a race, we're a fortified race, and that's why they want to use us as guinea pig. Unfortunately, we have bastards back home that are actually leading. Assume they're not leading anybody. They're just there to to enrich themselves. So anyway, I pray God Almighty in His mercy will see us all through as a race and give us the strategy to use. That's why you see you have mixed, not even mixed. There was no mixed feelings in when you see the minister of defense that died, in Nigeria, that died recently, that died of coronavirus. That the vice president was supposed to go to Germany for a meeting. Now he went there instead of the vice president because he was actually the one calling the shot. It was behind the destruction of Nigeria. So God, I made a video. I said Corona justice. I know what I'm talking about. That's how God, in His infinite mercy, you see, if you don't help Showore to fight the system to get rid of the bad eggs in the society, God, if that man Showore, God says it will lead in that country. God's infinite mercy will open ways for him and take out all the criminals that needs to be taken out. Well, they said he's the one that controls Nigerian president. So let's see what the president will be doing alone by himself now when his main man has been consumed by the virus. Well, Showore said, let there be revolution. We consider revolution or impeachment. What is the best thing to do right now to Africa? Because we really need a good leader. Even Dubai, look at this man in Dubai, what he said about Nigeria.
If you're comparing with Nigeria, listen to this. Nigeria has oil before than Dubai. It's a history. They are more rich than us. They have agriculture, they have mining, they have everything, you name it, they have it. Am I right or wrong? When you have a true leadership, which we have nothing, but we have everything because we have the right leadership. That's the only thing you need, a right leader for your country, not corruption. If you're comparing with...
So that's it for today. I'm Lady Abimbola. Remember, the greatest weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. So face your fears, elevate your mind, and resist every temptation to panic. Thank you, and God bless you.